Hi, I'm Ernie Medina with TRV, and today we're going to go over the 3 least desirable carry positions that are practiced today. One of the 3 least desirable is the small of the back, and we'll go over that in a little bit more detail. Another one is along the ankle, and then the last one is the off-body carry in either a bag or purse. So we're going to go over into those 3 least desirable practice or carry methods and show you a little bit about each. The first least desirable method that we're going to go over today is the small of the back carry. And why it's least desirable is because in order for me to draw the firearm, I need to take my strong hand or my strong arm and I need to actually come across my back and put it in what we call a chicken wing position. Okay, so I need to actually put my arm in a very weak position to grab the firearm. If I'm in a close-in engagement with somebody and I reach behind, and if you're even a halfway experienced fighter and somebody does that, I'm going to exploit that and take the arm away. So I'm going to attack that arm. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to get that arm out. If I'm pressed against the wall, which could happen as well, being in the small of the back, it's again least desirable in that the firearm is pressed from in between the wall and my back. Therefore, I'm not really able to get access to that firearm in a close-in engagement like that. Another reason why it's least desirable is because in order for me to defeat my garment, I have to somehow take my support hand, defeat the garment somehow, and then bring my hand around. So now I have 2 hands behind my back. And if that didn't scream something was up to my attacker, well, I don't know what will. But another thing that I have to do is I have to then draw, get access to the firearm, okay, and then bring the firearm around. Now, as you can see, as I'm bringing the firearm around, yes, I can bring it around pointed downward, but it's very easy for me to be in a position where I start to get to a point where I might be flagging folks. Further, I have to clear my body, so I kind of have a curved motion where I bring up the firearm and present out. A couple things about that is that I don't want to be in a position where I'm coming out and I could potentially stray, as well as I want to, with this, I want to be able to come around and then come into position for retention. If I'm going to make some sense out of it, I'm going to bring the firearm up, clear the holster, and bring it straight into retention if I can, because I want to get my arm out from that chicken wing position, but I also want to get that firearm safely into a position of retention without flagging anybody and press out. Proves a little bit slower, a little bit more difficult to do, especially in the heat of the moment when our natural fight or flight responses really just want to have our hands come together and join. So naturally, I'm going to be more inclined to swing the arms out. Okay? So that is the small of the back carry. The next least desirable position that I'm going to go over is the off-body carry, so either backpack or for the ladies, purse carry. I'm going to demonstrate with a backpack, and I know there's different bags out there that have either crossbody sling, or if the ladies carry over their strong side shoulder for their purse. But I'm going to show the backpack method, and there's going to be some similarities there, and we'll talk through that. But the first thing I want to demonstrate is that if I'm going about town, and remember, threats don't come with a warning. They're going to happen quickly, and you're going to have to get into the fight, so to speak, very, very quickly. So first thing I've got to do at this point is I've got to unsling my backpack so that way my strong hand can get inside. So I'm going to unsling my support side, and I could do this where I rip the sling off, but the problem is it's still hooked to my arm. So one of the best methods to unsling the support hand is actually reaching through here and pushing straight out. So that way it doesn't get caught up in my support hand. Then I'm going to bring the bag over into essentially my center, and now I can actually work with the bag. So as you're starting to see, this is becoming a multi-step chore. Now, once I get the bag into my center here, I'm going to then defeat the zipper for whatever compartment. And most CCW bags have a zipper compartment to get to the firearm. So I'm going to unzipper the compartment here, reach in, and then get my firearm into the fight. Now, if, for instance, I have anything in this bag that is in addition to my firearm, there's weight here. And what's going to happen is that this weight is going to weigh on my shoulder here, my strong side shoulder. So even in the heat of the moment, if this bag were to come off my shoulder, as it likely would, now I have weight pulling down my strong side, or my primary hand, which will affect my ability to shoot. Now, granted, I can compensate for that if need be, but that's something that maybe in the middle of shooting 2, 3, however many rounds, it's going to pull my line of fire off. So something to consider as well. So that would be the method for unslinging the backpack and getting this firearm back into the fight. Now, as you can see, I'm still holding the firearm, so getting it back into, say, the holster, we'll be putting it in here and then re-zipping my compartments, okay? Now, granted, you're not worried about reholstering so much in a real firefight, but just food for thought. So a little bit more real time, I'll go ahead and demonstrate. So remember the rule of 3. Firefights happen within 3 seconds. They are about 3 yards distance on average, and they are over after 3 shots. So if you're thinking the rule of 3, how does this backpack or off-body carry method really help or hurt you? So again, I'll go ahead and demonstrate a little bit more real time. I'm gonna unsling my backpack, get it over here, unzip, and then press out, okay? Now, that took me about a good 3.5, maybe 4 seconds until I can get the firearm out and into the fight. By that point, I've already been receiving the threat or rounds for those 3.5, 4 seconds. So another point of consideration is it is one of the least desirable carry methods. The next least desirable carry position or method is the ankle carry. And the ankle carry obviously will be on the ankle, but remember, if you are right-handed, it's going to be on the inside of your left ankle, and if you're left-handed, it's going to be on the inside of your right ankle. So it's not going to be on your strong side, and here's why. So as I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this or mimic the ankle carry, I'm going to come down here. So this firearm would be somewhere over here on the inside of my support side. Now, in order for me to draw, I'm going to have to take a knee, as you see here, and then defeat this garment, this pant leg, to reveal the firearm. Now, when I reveal the firearm, then I have to take it up and out of the holster, and I can present from here if need be, but if I want to get back into a standing position, I'm going to have to come up into a standing position. Couple things to note about that when I go down to take that knee to get the firearm, I have a threat here, I'm going to, keep my eyes on the threat as much as I can, but there will come a point here where I reveal the firearm, and now I might have to take my eyes off the threat or whatever, but I can practice this where I don't, and then now I'm in this compromised position. Because if my threat is essentially on top of me or within one arm's distance, now I'm fighting from a lower position. And anybody who's done any hand-to-hand fighting will know that the person standing above the person on the knee or whatever is going to have somewhat of an upper hand, especially in a violent encounter like we would see on the street. So I don't want to put myself lower than my attacker. So then I have to come up and then present straight out. Another factor to consider is that that takes time, okay? So on the draw time, it's gonna be slower than anything of the, say, more common or favored positions like the strong side hip or the appendix carry. So a couple things about the ankle carry is that, one, it takes you to go lower, so it's gonna take you into a compromised position, takes you longer, and if anybody's carrying for any length of time, say 12 hours in the day, 14 hours in the day, that firearm is going to get very, very heavy on that support side. So what's going to happen is you're actually going to develop some either pain or discomfort because all the weight is on that one side. Think about having a 5-pound ankle weight on your leg all day long. Okay. Now, depending on your ankle holster, it might very well distribute that weight pretty well, but you still have 5 pounds or so on one side that you don't on another side. So things to consider over a length of time is that you're going to have weight pulling on one side, which, depending on your physical setup, you might develop some problems either on the hips, ankles, knees, as it relates to that weight on that side.